Mashiane Politically Incorrect. We're at the MK EFF. Is this Acacia?
No, well, this is Wonderpark where we are today. I'm from Tshwane, so I don't know this area too well. But
I think it's Amandaseg.
Amandaseg, thank you. Yeah.
Okay, Mashiane here, can you just tell us who are you and where you're from, and so we could talk about this ward?
Thank you. I'm Alderman Peter Sutton. I'm a ward councillor in the city of Tshwane, Ward 78 in Tshwane, and I'm assisting at this by-election VD today.
Explain, why is there a vacancy? Why are we going to by-elections?
Well, a by-election takes place within a political term when a ward councillor, a vacancy occur in a ward due to the ward councillor either is resigning or demise of the ward councillor, whatever the situation might be. In this case, we had a ward councillor, Sipho Mtekasi, and she was the ward councillor here. She is no longer the ward councillor here, and that's the reason why there will be a by-election.
Is she promoted? Was she from the DA? Is there misconduct?
Was a DA ward councillor. The precise reasons why she's no longer in the position I do not have. That's an internal matter on a higher level. I do believe it was a mutual decision to end her service to the DA, between the DA and herself. I do not have the details why, but she was a DA councillor. There's now a vacancy and we will be contesting this election again.
What are the numbers? What's the confidence level? Are you coming into this ward that you have previously won shaking, or you've got good numbers to secure the win?
Well, look, I think we need to be very clear that the DA and what the DA offer, we're very clear of. We're very proud about the DA. We're very proud of our governance, what we stand for, what our principles are. We're very confident, as we always are, in by-elections and in any election, and we'll continue to offer the DA value, which we do in every other election as well, and we are confident from that part. We do not fear any other political parties, and to be quite clear and to be quite honest, other political parties is not our business. Our business is the DA principles, what we stand for and what we can offer.
I know I ambushed you. You've got the numbers. Do you know what's the gap between yourselves and your second runner-up? What is I just want to know your strength here. I know you did well in the 2024 national elections in this VD. I just want to know what's your confidence level, and do you already have a person fit for the job to replace the outgoing?
No, we're still in process, I believe, to appoint a candidate. We will take our time in that process to make sure we get a candidate that's fit for purpose, a candidate that can serve this community, a candidate that will hopefully be from this community and will understand this community. I do not have the exact details about the percentages in the previous election, but what our strength is the DA value and what we get to offer. So no, it's not an ambush. I don't feel ambushed by you, but we will continue to bring that offering. And our strength is in the fact that we do not take the votes for a DA or a DA vote for granted. We work hard. We're on the ground every single day. We listen to residents. We speak to them. We hear what they have to say. When there's correction needed, we'll do correction. Where we can assist and we can address problems, we do. Most of the issues that have been raised with us is problems in this area. We know that the DA is the opposition party in the city of Tshwane, contesting this ward, and we will continue to work to serve the residents of this area, as we do everywhere else.
Talking about an ambush, John Steenhuisen was trending with the word ambush. What happened in the Oval Office, it was called an ambush. Do you think the teams that went there, do you think they rehearsed? Do you think they prepared themselves as consolidated Team South Africa to go and put a good word for the country?
Well, I think the general view, and I can speak for myself, I think Steenhuisen did us proud as the DA. We're very proud of what he did for us in Washington. I think Team SA, it was not an easy meeting. But I think the focus and the main focus why John was there was to re-establish trade relations with the US, to look at aspects like AGOA, which is an important aspect in terms of trade for South Africa with the US, to look at the tariffs and the tariff increases that the Trump administration want to impose in South Africa, and to try and open those doors. And there's one key thing the DAs always focus on, and that is to create jobs and to grow the economy. And there's two things that I will say about Steenhuisen. One, he did not speak any lies when he was in that Oval Office. Nothing he said was a lie. And two, that whatever he did in Washington was in line with the DA position of creating jobs and growing the economy. There will obviously be conflicted views and people will have their own interpretations, and a technical analysis is not always the right issue when emotions come in place, but those two aspects is what's key for me. What he said was not a lie. Everything he spoke was the absolute truth. Thank you.
He said the reason they are in the GNU is because they want to keep the bad guys out. And this in bad guys, he coined them. There's the Umkhonto we Party and the EFF. And you just said you are not concerned about other political parties. I know he might be playing politics when he was there. How serious is it for you to share power with people that you do not like, people that you do not see a view with of how you want to take South Africa forward? And I know the GNU is not the most rosy of friendships, but it looks like you have labeled Umkhonto we and EFF as extreme adversaries for you too. Is it possible? Would you ever find yourself working with them?
So again, I'm going to come back to the point that I raised earlier. The most important decision driving factor in the DA is growing the economy and creating jobs. So everything we do needs to enhance growing the economy and creating jobs. What we have seen from the EFF and Umkhonto Sizwe is the opposite of that. A lot of the times we hear the chantings that goes on, we see the claims of expropriation without compensation, we see those aspects. We know the DA is going to court on a lot of those matters because those are countermeasures to growing the economy and to creating jobs. So the decision-making factor is always that. It's not about privilege, it's not about yourself, it's about like-minded people who want to share power. The DA is completely opposed to expropriation without compensation. The other parties, and many of the other parties, are in favor of that. You can't have a sustainable coalition government with parties that are so fundamentally disjoint with viewpoints. So that's the position. John has said what he said and I support him, but the focus is always not to down other political parties, but to continue to create a value-driven proposition for your own party. And that's what I meant when I said that other parties are not our business. We are very clear on what our mandate is.
Lights were dimmed, a bioscope was played, Julius Malema was staring there. He sang a song that is that's not friendly for people from your community, and Donald Trump said specifically, "Why don't you arrest him?" Would you want someone who does that to be arrested, who sing that song?
Well, I think it's a question that we have been discussing around my table here in the back of today as well. If the question is, should he now be arrested coming back from Team South Africa, I don't necessarily think that's the right decision. I think that maybe there could be a law change. We know that as South Africans, and we all committed, and the DA is very committed to diversity, we know that there's been a very strong stance about the old apartheid flag being waved, which we support, and I think we can look at similar countermeasures. And we need to be very clear that the song that we're referring to, that gets sung, had a place in our history. It was part of our history. But we're in a new time now, and it's time to move forward. And I think that's the principle. And I think we need to take it from that. We can't erase history. History is history, and history is there to remind us to go forward and not to forget and make the same mistakes again. But I think we can possibly look at aspects like that. I doubt very much if he will be arrested now. And we do have a different view in many cases than what other countries have with the political freedom and all that. I suppose the question could always be asked, how how far should political freedom and the right to express yourself stretch when you do say certain things that offend people. But ultimately what we need to do, if we want to move this country forward, we need to find a way and hold on to that which unite everyone and not divide people. And there's much more that unites all the South Africans than what divides us. And I think that should be the focus going forward.
Thank you. So if Malema stops singing, you'll drop the flag?
No, not necessarily. It's,
the old flag, will you still want to wave it if he stops singing?
No, I don't. I think the singing is not the issue with the if that's what they do in their personal capacity. I think you need to look at the policies and the principles of the political parties. And at the end of the day, the DA and the ANC are two parties that are multicultural and represent all the people of South Africa. And then you get very specific political parties that represent a specific view. And expropriation without compensation and many of the other principles, like for instance in the EFF, does not resonate with the DA because of what I mentioned, the key factors, growing the economy, creating jobs. And if it's a countermeasure to that, we cannot align with that. And that is the key factor.
Starlink, it's coming. Are you happy? Are you not scared? Is the rumor of them mining data from us that may be used against us anything to be scared of?
I must be honest, I have not put my head around the Starlink. I hear the rumors. I know Elon Musk himself, I've read an article saying they have not formally applied to have Starlink in South Africa. I've seen the speculation that it will be one of the aspects that we will offer Team South Africa for Starlink to come. There will always be people who will be concerned about certain factors, but at the end of the day, whatever comes to South Africa from an economic investment needs to reach the people on the ground. And I think one of the criticisms that we as the DA have, and I personally have with BEE, is it's benefited certain connected people and it's made certain millionaires into bigger millionaires and billionaires. But the people on the ground and the people who live in the townships and the average person on the ground do not have opportunity because they're not connected. And what I certainly want to see, and why we are so in favor of doing away with BEE, it needs to be replaced with something else that can give the ordinary person on the chance on the ground to economically benefit. And I have not seen anything about those deals or any aspects. What I do believe and what I do hope is we can improve trade relations with the US. We can improve, re-establish AGOA and the benefits of AGOA, and we can see that economic viability coming back to South Africa from that, and stop obviously ridiculous tariff increases to that.
Alderman from the City of Tshwane's Council, 2026 is coming. Good luck for this by-election and of course 2026. I
appreciate it. Thank you very much, and thank you for the time. Thank you for allowing me to speak with you, and it was an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
Thanks.